Good morning from the greenhouse. It's the 12th of November and this past week we had the first frost in the greenhouse. It was -3 degrees here and you can probably see that our sweet potatoes plants were hit by frost, and that means it's time to harvest the tubers. In the past we have grown sweet potatoes outside, but our climate is actually not quite warm enough and the season is not quite long enough for sweet potatoes to grow them really successfully. Last year we averaged about half a kilo, a little over a pound per plant, and that's not much. But because sweet potatoes store really well, I would like to be able to grow more. So this year is the first year that we have a greenhouse, and I tried growing sweet potatoes in the greenhouse to see whether it's worth the space. Last year I ordered sweet potatoes plants from an organic grower in the Netherlands, and they have a variety that they say is well suited to our climate. Still, the harvest was not that big, but we kept the potatoes from last year and I grew slips, young shoots in the spring, and so these come from our own plants, and I planted them in the greenhouse around mid-June. Growing the sweet potatoes in the greenhouse obviously means that they get more warmth, more heat, but it also means that we're able to harvest about a month later than last year when we grew them outside. And because the tubers are formed at the end of the growing season, this could make a big difference. So let's have a look. I removed all the leaves and I'm trying to gently lift the tubers. I'm trying not to hit them with a fork because damaged tubers will not keep as well. Okay, what have we got? Oh, that's a nice size. So here's the first one. They seem quite, there are two tubers twisted into each other. Oh, and there are more. Okay, I'm not expecting to get tubers the size that we get in the supermarket, but this looks quite promising. So this is the harvest from the first plant, and there are a few decent sized tubers, so I'm quite pleased, but let's try to lift the other ones as well. Plant number 5, and it looks like I'll have to eat my words because I said I don't expect to get really big tubers, the size we get in the supermarket, but look at the size of this one. And this is something that we definitely would not achieve if growing them outside. So I'm really pleased with the result here. And there's another one which is also big. Yeah, that's a good sized one too. So this is the total harvest from our 9 plants. I'm especially pleased with the size of the tubers because, like I said, we have never reached size like this before. So I think I'll definitely try growing them again next year to see how that goes. First, before we can eat the sweet potatoes, they need to be cured, and that means storing them at a fairly high temperature and a fairly high humidity for about 2 weeks. Ideal for this is a temperature of 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, and that's 85 Fahrenheit. Unfortunately, our house at this point, at this time of year, is far colder than this. It's around 20 degrees Celsius, so we'll try to find a warm spot and cure them for 2 weeks. That is done both to enhance the sweetness, because at this point the sweet potatoes are not really sweet. They need a curing for that. And also it toughens the skin and makes them store better. Last year, after the curing process, we stored them in our unheated bedroom, and that worked really well. They were still okay and good to use in spring. So that's what we're going to do this year as well. One of the problems with growing sweet potatoes in the greenhouse is that the space only becomes available around mid-November after the harvest, and that's too late for sowing or growing most of the winter vegetables. But there are still some things that can be done, that can be planted, and there are a few things that I'm going to try. As I said before, this is the first year that we have a greenhouse, so I'm still trying to figure out what is the best way to use it. I have here tubers of almonds that I soaked in water, and I'm going to plant them, and these are beautiful cut flowers that we will hopefully be able to cut early in the spring. That's one thing. Another is I'm going to plant some garlic here inside. I'll be planting a lot outside, but I want to try growing some inside the greenhouse and see whether it makes a difference in the harvest, especially against rust, whether it helps against rust. And a third thing is I'll be digging up some things from outside like parsley and landcress and planting them inside the greenhouse so that we can keep harvesting from them in the winter. Okay, that's all, and I'll see you next time. Happy gardening!